Hello world. For those of you that regularly follow the channel or might have happened to stop by, normally you would know that you would be looking at a black S all-wheel drive Kia Telluride. Well, that's gone now. I'm going to take a moment to tell you why. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I wanted to let you all know that I greatly appreciate those of you who subscribe to the channel. We plan to still do more as we go forward into the new year. However, admittedly, we haven't put a lot of content out recently, and in part because of the fact that the Kia Telluride has been a fantastic car, in part because there's been a pandemic, so the car didn't move nearly as much as it might have in the past. So there was less chance for us to do anything special with it, if you will. So I still appreciate everybody subscribing and paying attention, and for those of you that stop by, thank you for your time as well. We sold the Kia Telluride. We had actually, and for those that haven't really watched the channel, I give you the background, but we bought the Kia Telluride in 2019, in February, March of 2019. So that was right when it came out. We were one of the first 400 to 500 vehicles sold in the United States. So I knew that this would be a great opportunity to spend some time with my son, doing some videos, showing him how social media worked, kind of teaching him the ins and outs, like, people are going to troll you and say bad things and etc., and you got to learn not to take it personally, etc. And so some life lessons that that in the modern day world, right, things that we didn't have to deal with when we were kids. And so long story short, it's been a great opportunity, and I'm thankful that I had the chance to do that. So full circle with the Kia Telluride. Like I said, we bought it early on. We got a $1,500 rebate on it, a $500 founder's check on it, and we managed to negotiate a little bit off the top on that as well. Our sticker originally was $37,000 for it, and lo and behold, probably August, September, we noticed that you could sell a used Kia Telluride. We had over 10,000 miles on ours, slightly over, and people were selling those for a considerable sum over what we paid originally. So I checked with Carvana and a couple other places to see what they would all pay us, and frankly, everybody offered us more than what we originally paid. So long story short, we went ahead and sold the vehicle. We were actually able to sell it for $38,000, so technically we sold it for more than we paid for it. But the condition was, we planned on getting back in. There's a story of Mr. Market, which I think originated with a gentleman by the name of Benjamin Graham. If you're unfamiliar with it, I would say Google it. I think it's a very valuable lesson, but the basics of that lesson are that there's a difference between what you call intrinsic value and price. Intrinsic value has a lot more to do with kind of business justification for how you determine the price of a stock, anything where there's a market, a car, whereas when you're looking at price can involve emotional and kind of irrational elements. So learning how to balance those two things out to figure out what's a reasonable amount to pay for any particular product or service or investment in that particular case. So in our stance, I kind of looked at it and talked it over with my wife and said, it's rather illogical, right? I mean, as popular as this vehicle is, you're talking about people paying over MSRP for a vehicle that Kia's not going to stop producing. I mean, it's so popular, they're going to keep going at it, right? So it's really a matter of patience. Do you have the time and willingness to wait it out? Your other risk would be that Kia raises the price on the vehicle. But you can use some business logic to kind of look at that and say, what's the likelihood that Kia is going to dramatically raise the prices? And I think between the 20 and the 2021, they did do a price adjustment, but it wasn't as dramatic as people might have thought. And even between a 2021 and 22, I doubt we're going to see a huge bump up in price. So logically for us, I think it just made sense to say, hey, why not sell it and make a little bit of money and get back into the market when things become more rational? And not only that, we'll get exactly what we want this time. When we bought it, There was no EX with captain's chairs. Just that wasn't an option. If you were one of the first people to buy Telluride, if you wanted captain's chairs, your choices were to buy an S or an SX. And, you know, that price differential was somewhere in the ballpark of, I'm probably overestimating here, but let's say about 10 grand, right? So you have to ask yourself, if you don't care about a lot of these extra features, you just, you know, the happy medium for us was really the EX. So in a way, we ended up settling, but we settled because we really wanted captain's chairs. You know, there are some other things too, like LEDs, which personally I feel like that should be standard on all vehicles these days. It's just from a safety perspective, it just makes a ton of sense to have good headlights, right? So long story short, it was either give up a bench seat or go ahead and settle on the S, and that's exactly what we had done. So we were able to sell the vehicle, make some money on it, put in an order for a new one, and already kind of factored in that we were not going to pay more than MSRP minus whatever incentives, etc. And lo and behold, for us, I mean, I was clearly expecting to wait at least 5 or 6 months for that opportunity to make itself available. It actually turned out to be about 2 months. We sold the vehicle, placed an order. We had worked it out with our dealer that this is the most we were willing to pay, and if that wasn't going to be how it would work out, then whatever, we're not going to worry about it. But the dealership was really good and treated us really well, and so 2 months later, we ended up getting an EX with the Premier or Premium package, whatever they call it, where you get the captain's chairs and the 20-inch wheels and the LED headlights that are similar to what you see on the SX. And so we're really, really satisfied with the new vehicle. We're probably going to continue to do some videos as opportunity presents itself. Matter of fact, as the day goes on today, I'm thinking about maybe a video for just general car buying shoppers, just some tips, insights, things that I look at when I'm buying a car that maybe somebody else might appreciate. And so we'll hope you stick around and watch some of the new videos. And frankly, I think I might actually, as time permits, expand on this and not just do the Kia Telluride, but because I am such a fan of watching new vehicles coming to market, you know, if the opportunity presents itself, maybe do the Bronco or the you know, the new 2021 Ford F-150, and heck, any new car I can get my hands on, it might be fun to do. So long story short, just thank you again. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving, and looking forward to talking to you all more in the new year. So this is just a quick video just showing you know, what we went through, why we went through it in terms of making the change. A little bonus footage for those of you who wanted to stick around and listen. There's the LED lights. That was one of the key things that I know that I specifically wanted, that comes when you do the upgrade on the EX to include the Premium or Premier package. 20-inch wheels. In our particular case, it wasn't a deal breaker, but I did know that we do tow, and so originally with the 2020, even if you got towing with the level self-leveling suspension, you just had the typical plug, but now you can actually do a 7-pin if you wanted fairly easily. You can set up, I believe, a brake controller fairly easily. I haven't done that myself, but it can easily be done. And for us, here was the big thing. We really wanted captain's chairs in the second row. And so being able to get all the features that the EX offers standard in just this one thing is enough to make a big difference for us. We really think that the EX is the sweet spot when it comes to the Kia Telluride. It gives you everything that you could possibly want, but at the same time, you're not really spending on a whole bunch of things you don't really need. Everybody's view of what you need may be a little bit different. However, I think for most families, this is the trim level that you're definitely looking for. Thanks again for watching. Have a happy Thanksgiving.